Hey guys, and welcome back to another multiplayer game. This time we'll just get into this one. It's a 1v1. We got Arabia in the map pool this time against Luca, who, if you don't know who Luca is, he's a very good Vubli player. He's 2k plus, and he really is much better than I am. So I have no business actually winning a game against him. But the difference is he is Franks, and I have the Cumans. And I figured this would be a good opportunity to talk about the balance of the Cumans, because this might be the most unbalanced civ that we've ever had. So they can make basically 2 town centers in the Feudal Age, which means they have a ridiculously strong economy. And then when they get to the Castle Age, they have both an incredibly strong unique unit that's basically like a combination of a Chukonu and a Mangudai. And then they also have the Steppe Lancer, which basically, I'm not sure what to do against Steppe Lancers, but we'll get into that later. For now, we'll just kind of look at the map. So I have a really nice back gold. So this Arabia version really isn't that great because it has ponds. Pretty much any competitive version of Arabia used in tournaments, either if it's not the standard map, it will be a version of Dry Arabia that removes the ponds. Basically, it just makes it a lot less fun to play if you have a pond that's right in your starting wood line. It looks like this one might actually keep them more towards the outside and away from the actual starting wood lines, but I'll need to play around with the generation a bit more to see whether or not that's the case. Anyway, my main gold's in the back, which is nice. This gold also pretty far in the back. The only weak part of my map is these 2 stones and this gold, all in this one corner. Getting a nice wall here at some point would be really nice. And then getting a wall up over here would also be nice. Then I can actually have a really safe map with lots of wood in the back on all of my resources in the back. But anyway, my plan essentially, Cumans, another civ bonus, which makes them really strong, is that their cavalry moves 10% faster. So, oh yeah, also they can make siege workshops and battering rams in the Feudal Age. So they just have like all of the ridiculously strong bonuses. So their team bonuses, Palisades have more HP. And then Steppe Husbandry means your light cav and cav archers get created faster. So they're basically like the Goths, but with cav archers instead of infantry. So yeah, they're pretty strong. The Franks, meanwhile, they're one of the best Arabia civs. They, I think, have the best like overall win percentage of Arabia civs in random maps. I wouldn't say they're the strongest. I do think civs like Aztecs still will come out on top, but they are honestly just a ridiculously strong civ, and especially if you like playing with scouts, they're a really good civ to play with because your scouts have the extra HP, so you can really apply a lot of pressure at the beginning of the Feudal Age, having 54 hit points instead of 45. And then again, when you get up immediately to the Castle Age, your knights have the extra hit points, so they're 120 versus someone with bloodlines who either has to research bloodlines or will be fighting with weaker knights, and well, you won't be able to fight with weaker knights. You pretty much have to run away. But anyway, I'm pretty much just doing a standard scouts build here. Just like 20 pop scouts. But I end up wanting to go scouts and into a TC. So when I look at my map, I see, okay, I'll build a TC between that gold and that wood. This area will be safe. Then that basically also means the only place I have to defend will be this wood line and these berries. And as long as I check on him and make sure that he's going scouts, then I can do that just with a couple of spearmen, and I really don't even need to wall too much. Now we see he, of course, he is a great player, does have a really clean build here in the Dark Age. If we go to his point of view, has that boar very well positioned as we zoom in. The very slight amount we're actually able to zoom. And yeah, so I'm not using the enhanced graphics for this one because I don't use them when I play, because I get better performance. I can use them for single player stuff, but I don't really like them for multiplayer because of the performance issue, even though it does look a lot nicer. But it's just every time I go to toggle them off and on, I need to run the benchmark again to play multiplayer games, which is really annoying because I don't want to have to pass that every time I switch between recording and playing. But anyway, so we're both doing pretty similar things. He's a bit more efficient than I am, but 20 pop scouts from each of us. There we go. I'm up, and he is also up. As the difference here is he's going for a second lumber camp. I'm going to stick to one lumber camp, mostly because I'm going to build a town center, so I don't need a second lumber camp. And I think he actually stole one of my goats earlier that I wasn't paying attention to, like left it out there while I was scouting. So I'll be hurting a bit for food. And if I were smart, I would be walling up right now across here, and then across the front, getting the stable there. And then even maybe back there. Oh, no, he didn't. I just completely forgot about it out there. That's a tip for you kids. Don't forget about your goats. Always keep track of them. Yeah, he'll come and steal it now. And if we compare the scouting, you see I've seen all of his resources are up in this area of his base other than his main gold, which I don't know if I'll find. Oh, it's over there, yeah. So this area of the base, if I can control that later in the game, I know things are going to be pretty good for me. Let's see, there's an extra gold and extra stone really far in that corner, and I don't actually see the other extra gold on this map. So it looks like this is kind of a bug map that didn't actually spawn with 2 extra golds, but only had 1. Yeah, anyway, he's up to Feudal. I'm up to Feudal right after him. And so I put down the TC, and that meant that I didn't actually have the wood to build a stable, and then I misclicked and tried to do double bit axe instead of building the stable, so my stable's going to be really late. So there's still a bit of improvement for the stable TC build. You do need a lot of wood. But at this point I have a lot of wood. And I also going to be building a spearman because I see hasn't been taking any gold, so he'll be going for scouts. Also, I think I scouted that stable at some point. Yeah, I did. So I know he's going for scouts. And so my plan right here is just defend with a couple of spearmen and play Feudal Age boom with 2 town centers. And let's see if we can get a hit on that scout. Nope, he's paying attention. He's a good player. He's not going to let a scout get hit by that spear. And no, he is Frank's, and he does have the stable up a lot earlier than I did. He will, of course, see that I got the stable up late, so he will be looking to get really aggressive with his scouts, knowing that I'm not going to have as many scouts to defend. But, well, who needs scouts to defend when you have 2 TCs? Right, I'll garrison and get a few hit points of damage on that scout, nothing major. And then he'll come around here and be like, oh, wow, look at this. He has a second TC. I can't do any damage there. And, of course, I have my scout there. So with villagers, I can just go to fight him off. And he'll take a bit of TC fire from me. He'll have his scout attacking my barracks there. And he'll try to get some villager picks over here. But I need to find my spearman now. There you go. I'll bring my scout over. Just kind of try to debate him into the TC fire if I can. He's really got to pay attention there. Yep, get the garrison. Get another shot and he splits. Yeah, look at that. He's really good with the scout micro. Definitely knows how to play the game. But the problem is this civ is just kind of overpowered. Like, there's no way he can really damage me. I don't know, maybe the one thing he could do is come forward with an aggressive tower and try to trush me. Because the thing is, my stone's over here, but I spent 100 stone on a TC, which means that I can't build a counter tower. So if he's able to do some quick walling here, because he sees that I don't have an archery range, there's nothing I really could do to stop that tower until I get a market up, or maybe long distance mine some stone.
Yeah, wait.
I mean, if I am down in stone anyway, it might be a good idea just to get some outposts up to prevent some tower shenanigans. Or perhaps try to just be aggressive in walling here to prevent the scouts from raiding me. At this point, I definitely could be doing a lot more walling, especially if I keep track of where his scouts are, so that's something I should be paying attention to. And I'll bring that spear over and force him to run away. Now he's going to split up his scouts and try to harass me from different locations. But that's actually good for me because I have a smaller number of scouts. I'm actually able to defend with scouts now if he splits up his groups. And he's going to try to get a villager. And I'll bring my spearman over. He might get one. So I'm not too upset with that. I don't really mind losing one villager if I kill a scout and get a lot of HP on it. But from his position, he's just kind of in a fully walled state where he's going to not make much feudal army and try to get to Castle Age and push me. So anytime he can trade his scouts for villagers at this point, it's a good trade for him because once we both get to the Castle Age, these scouts lose a lot of their usefulness when they have to deal with knights and stuff. So we'll get a nice gate there, try to get some TC hits. I guess I didn't garrison my TC there. Oh well. Now that scout, it's only 7 HP, so it can't really fight villagers by itself now. And I noticed that a lot of his scouts at this point have low HP. There's another 7 HP one, so I'm not really too worried about needing to fight with my villagers. And he is going to come over to my berries. I do try to run. That might have been a bit premature instead of fighting. And you will see I try to focus that scout, take it out. He will get one villager though before I bring my spearman over. Maybe I could have done a better job of focusing the weak scout and fighting out here. But I did also want to bring the villagers back to protect them with the spears. I guess an earlier wall across here would have been a lot better. Just kind of prevent the scouts from running in and out. Because they are just running all the way around my unwalled base, and we see he is fully walled, so I can't do damage. So that's something I guess I have to keep in mind. I do kind of like playing these just standard rated games without walling, but it is something to take note of. Anyway, so I'm building a market. He is up to the Castle Age a lot earlier than I am. So at this point, I'm just going to cut villager production. And let's look at the population difference. So I am, 9 population ahead at this point. Do we get like a population count? We don't see the villager counts. But I think it's safe to say that my economy is much stronger than his at this point. Because not only am I going to be able to go up to the Castle Age, I'm also going to be able to queue villagers while doing it. And the hard part about this is you actually need to remember to queue the villagers while you're going up to the Castle Age. It's such an unnatural thing to do. I'll do a bit of walling to keep him out there. And I guess one of the flaws of my scouting is I didn't scout the back of my base completely. I have this wood line to here, but I don't actually see where I could make the wall. So if I don't actually need to wall all the way out here at the start of the game. One thing I could do is just wall back here across the front, down to that wood line, and then down over to here. That gives me, even in the case of a forward tower, I can still go here for wood. I can still go here for wood, so I'd have a safe wood line and still be very protective of everything. He's a spearman there scouting, but I think I'll get that wall up without much trouble. Now he's up to the Castle Age first, and we see what does he do. He has 2 stables, and he's going down immediately with 1 TC. So that means he wants to be aggressive and try to push me with knights. Well, the good thing is I've kind of played with the Cumans a bit, and I knew that I needed that market to click up and kind of to stop the Vil production. And there we go, making Vils as I'm aging up. I don't want that one queued there. I should have had it queued in this TC. Kind of a hard thing that this one is the first one you jump to with your hotkey, so it's kind of the natural place to queue a Vil. Gonna have to be aware that you want to queue the Vil in the second TC. But anyway, here come the knights coming forward, and I have a few spearmen, and I know that I'm going to be up soon, and my plan is just to go into Steppe Lancers, because if you haven't seen Steppe Lancers before, they are one of the most powerful units in the game. They're like a Kamyuk on a horse, and if you don't know what the Kamyuk is, it was the Inca's unique unit that was introduced in the Forgotten Empires expansion that has extra range. So it has 1 range. These cats have 0 range. But the Steppe Lancers will then have 1 range. So they can actually get a very nice stack on top of each other. And there it is with 1 range. And honestly, they just decimate not only knights, but also pikemen and pretty much any melee unit they fight. And I'm not really worried about protecting my villagers there, because I know I can take this fight against the knights with these Steppe Lancers here. Because I've seen that the spearman there did some damage, and that's a low HP one. And I already have enough Steppe Lancers out that I can fight these knights. So there we are. You can tell he really wanted to apply some pressure early Castle Age, but that plan kind of fell apart. Already, he already has the armor upgrade, which I don't. I think I did bloodlines while I was going up. I didn't catch that on the overview. But we both have 2 town centers now. And if we check the populations, I am still ahead of him in population. Now again, remember, he is a much better player. He is not going to have as much idle time as I had while I was going up. And he is already onto his 3rd TC and producing knights from 2 stables. So he very well knows what he's doing. He has a monastery up, thinking that he wants the monastery to try to get some converts on the Steppe Lancers. But one of the problems with knights against Steppe Lancers, not only that they kind of tend to lose in fights once you get a good mass of Steppe Lancers, is that the Cumans also have that 10% cavalry speed bonus. So if I don't want to fight, I don't have to fight. I can just run away. So as long as I keep my army numbers similar enough to the point where he can't just run directly into my base, then I don't need to fight. And I just kind of can run around with my Steppe Lancers, try to poke at him in places which, well, I can't because he has 3 TCs in a very small area. And I'm doing the same thing, only without the walls around the outside. And if you look at the scores are still pretty close. But I think your Cuman you kind of lag behind in the score based on how far your advantage was. like that economy, you need some time to actually apply that economy bonus you've had from the second TC. And so here I am trying to kind of just pressure him, force him to wall, see if I can find a way in. And I can just run away. His knights won't be able to chase me. And do we get a military count somewhere? Can I... Maybe I display score and swap military mode. Okay, so he has 10 cavalry versus... Oh, that reset the minimap. My 12. So I actually have an advantage here. But I think he probably will be able to commit a bit more into producing those knights. That's just him actually having a bit better macro with the boom. And me also not knowing completely exactly how to organize this Cuman economy. This lumber camp here is getting a bit inefficient. That farm isn't really near a drop-off location, and the villagers will have to walk a lot there. So I do see that's walled off. I'm trying to find something I can raid with the Steppe Lancers, and I am thinking about concentrating this side of the map because I do see the gold there. But I'm not able to get in, and I don't know where his knights are right now, so that's something I need to do a better job of keeping track of the knights, and I see them there, and I decide just to run away. See, because I still haven't had to invest in my armor upgrade. So 0 melee armor and 10 attack versus 10 attack and 3 melee armor and 40 more HP. And let's see, we're gonna take a fight somewhat soon. And I don't have my stables queued up correctly. That's something I really should be paying attention to in the global queue. And to get that one cancelled and put into this stable. And if we see him, his stable production is much better. He always has one knight in each stable. This DC is kind of idle though, he's doing that thing. And we're just kind of running around out here. He has those monks there. He's going to try to pressure my stable, but I'm already getting a stable in the back. I'm thinking now's the time I've kind of have my economy rolling. I can make a transition to add stables and throw in more Steppe Lancers. And I'm going to take this fight here because I honestly have no idea who's going to win this fight. I guess we can kind of zoom in on that as far as these standard graphics allow. And I can't really tell who's winning until now. It looks like he's kind of starting to win, so I'm just going to pull back. And I'll bring my troops away. Let them go idle a bit there, but I kill a scout. Bring them back. I'm gonna try to get a quick wall off here, but don't quite get it in time. That would have been nice if I got it, but nope. Anyway, so I have enough Steppe Lancers here. He does have more knights, but he's not able to push into my base with them at all. And I'm safe enough that I can see the knights are out here. And the one thing I'm looking at my base right now is I need more farms, and I'm kind of running out of these wood lines, and I need to expand. So I added in the 4th TC, actually. I'm actually feeling pretty safe that I feel like adding in the 4th TC means if he's only on 3, he'll get up to the Imperial Age faster. But I'm feeling confident that with these Steppe Lancers, I'll be able to survive a push against early Imp Cavalier. So there's the University and that 4th TC. And at this point, I'm thinking just I need to keep my Steppe Lancer numbers up, so I'm not going to be trying to click up to Imp soon. I'm going to instead be concentrating on keeping the Steppe Lancer numbers up so I can fight these knights. I'll pull him back from my stable and basically just focus that monk. We'll see he doesn't get a conversion there. And do I have... Yeah, I've now started doing my upgrade, so you can see I've done the +2 armor and +1 attack so far. He's at the same thing, +2, +1. And he's adding in a 4th TC right now on the front on that gold, which is a really nice location because that's the area of the map he needs to protect. So again, I'm feeling kind of confident here, so I move my Steppe Lancers out to the side. He does manage to see it though, and he'll bring his knights over to react to that. I'm going to come down here and raid that stone. Kind of leave him idle there for a second longer than I wanted to. That gives his knights time to come back and gives them time to quick wall. And the same thing there, I needed to move them forward. Must have been managing my eco or something there, but yeah, I'm forced to run away. But thankfully, I can run away because I'm faster. And he's trying to pressure me on the front again with a single knight. This table has enough HP, it won't go down. Lion starts to chase me. Now that I'm on this hill, I can turn and fight and just force him away. Yeah, now I can choose to run back. So we're both on 4 TCs. He does have a bit of a score lead. And yeah, that's actually something I can't fight, especially not on the hill. He does have a lot more knights. So if we see, I have 21, and he has 27. So, and I didn't even have all of my 21 Steppe Lancers grouped up, whereas all of his knights were there, so that would not have been a good fight for me. So he's coming with his monks to try to get some conversions, push me back. Neither of us can really push the other at this point. I'm adding in some pikemen to kind of help deal with the knights. Essentially, I kind of want the pikemen to be able to stand here and protect my base at home while I can run around and use the mobility of the Steppe Lancers. He goes for that castle. Unfortunately, I'm not scouting well enough, and I don't know that that castle's there. I'm just kind of hanging out in front of my base. If we check the populations, so we're both kind of even in population at this point. And, I do have... Scores are pretty even, but I would say he's probably actually ahead. Just he's been a lot more fluid in managing his economy. The only real advantage is that I have the Steppe Lancer that is incredibly overpowered. So we'll come down here, and I see that castle going up. I'm a bit too late to stop it from going up. But what I do see is I have this narrow choke point on the hill. And I am underneath the castle, but I do want to fight here. Simply because, I can stack up the Steppe Lancers and have a good fight against the knights. He's not going to run away, and at that point I figure that's enough, I'll get out of there. And from his point of view, he really wants to fight underneath the castle like that. But I think that was still a pretty good fight for me. Maybe that was still kind of even. But I need to control my army here and don't fight. Maybe what he could have done there was got the knights in the back to garrison the castle, jump out this side, and trap me. That might have been nice for him, and use the monks to get some converts. But now I swear I tried to wall this, but I guess that wall didn't happen. Okay. But now I am going more fully for the wall and just putting the Steppe Lancers out on the front. Figure I'll have the stables here, moving into 4 stable production, while at the same time adding in some pikemen. Again, I know that he has knights, so I'm just going to use the pikemen to defend while massing up a few Steppe Lancers. Hope that this smaller force at my base gives me enough of a defender's advantage that he won't engage. And at the same time, run the Steppe Lancers around the side and try to make another attack on this stone gold area, which I know is exposed just from scouting the map earlier. Do need to watch out and be more active with these guys, though. Now I do have a pretty big score lead at this point. I'm not actually sure what that's from. Maybe it's just from the Cumans being overpowered. Let's, can I check the kill-death ratio anywhere? Statistics. Oh, yes, I can see. I do have a villager lead. And I do actually have a military lead at this point. And, okay, let's see. He is up to Imp first, but I am right behind him, and at this point I'm going to be pushing in on the right side. The nice thing is he has to bring his army back to defend this, and he's going to be trying to quick wall to take me out. I'd like to be able to take a fight with the knights before they turn into cavalier, but at the same time I don't want to engage my Steppe Lancers before they become elite Steppe Lancers. So I see I've forced him to pull his knights back, and we'll just kind of be pulling my forces back now. I know I've delayed his forward attack at this point. And I'll pull them back. At this point, he goes forward. What's he... He probably wants to drop a castle somewhere. Like right there. Oh, there we go. He's going for the yellow castle drop right on my face. But the problem is I can commit my army, and... Nice thing he didn't see all the Steppe Lancers I had there. And now I have just a huge army that I can win this fight with. Steppe Lancers, 80 food, 30 gold, and overpowered. So now's the part where he transitions into pikemen, which are supposed to counter cavalry. The problem is they do not counter Steppe Lancers, like, not even close at all. And I'm going to try to push in and take this fight. He sees I'm up to Imp 2. Our scores are pretty much the same at this point. And we have... He's done his Cavalier upgrade. I haven't done my Elite Steppe Lancer upgrade. He has a lot of pikes. He's going to do a nice thing of pulling the Cavalier back and letting the pikes take the fight. But I'm basically okay with that. I just want to kill the pikes as fast as I can. And... Oh, you can see the little upgrade glow on the unit. That's... I don't know how I feel about that. That's kind of distracting. But at this point, you see, I'm taking a huge score lead just because I did the Elite upgrade and I'm going to win this fight. And that's about it. And there's the GG from him. Because at that point, there really isn't... He just lost all of his army. And at that point, there really isn't much else he could do. He could build that TC there, but these two TCs are totally exposed and we won't have any gold at that point. And he probably hasn't even scouted that extra gold. I can't check that anymore now that the game's over. Okay. Can't check the Fog of War when the game's over. Something else to add to the list of spectator bugs. But yeah, Cumans are just super, super powerful. And this is me just kind of making up a build as I go along versus someone playing one of the strongest civs doing a build he's probably very well practiced at and being a significantly better player than I am. Just kind of succumbing to the strength of the Cumans and the Steppe Lancer. So let's look at the statistics there. So at the end of the day, I did have a pretty big economy advantage. It's hard to tell because that TC doesn't really reflect the economy advantage in the score immediately, and it's not until you kind of hit the Castle Age where you suddenly get a big boost, and there's me kind of winning that fight at the end. Especially with the food. And so the difference in economy here kind of comes down to the units we were focusing on. He has a lot more gold because knights actually cost gold, unlike the Steppe Lancers, which show only 30 gold. And much more 80 food intensive, so I had to focus more on getting the farms out. But other than not having the wood for that stable and not getting it down immediately, I think that was a pretty good and clean build for me in the Dark Age to go Scouts TC. He's obviously going to have more Scouts and force me to play defensive, but that seems to be a really strong strategy, and other than maybe going aggressive towers, I'm not quite sure how to counter that just yet. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.